employee in front take off his gloves. Company officials confirm the man relieves himself under the production line, then puts his gloves back on and continues to work.
Fire started around 7:30 on the roof of the HOG production side of the building.
Nice and cozy. Oh, I don't know what to say. This is so different for me, different setup. But hey everyone, it's JoyceNaomi here. Welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. Hope you decide to stick around. And by stick around, I mean subscribe. So today we are nice and cozy. It's like a whole different, I don't really have a setup, but it's so different and cute. Like, got me a little while trying to actually get this setup done, but I really hope it's good. I really hope I'm in, aligned and everything. I checked like a million times. I'll probably check again in a little bit. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is talking. I'm going to be talking. I'm doing a story time. Would you call this a story time? Yeah. I mean, I guess you could call this a story time. I'm probably naming this thing like a whole dramatic, like apply at your own risk or whatever. But today I'm talking about my experience working at a hog factory. Yes, I've worked at a hog factory 3 years ago, I want to say, about 3 years, maybe 4 years, kind of. And that was an experience. And I decided to just share just in case like you're near a hog factory, you want to apply to it or whatever. I'm just telling you the tea and everything. And before I even get into this video, I want to do a few disclaimers, but before I even get to disclaimers, let me know how you like this setup. It's so cute. It's like a podcasty type setup. I don't know. But yeah, I might film my videos. I think the next video I'm actually doing is another story time. That story time I'm kind of scared to tell, but I mean, you gotta get the content. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let me know if you like this nice setup. Like, I just home alone today, so I feel really comfortable filming like this. But let's get into some disclaimers because yeah, I feel like I have to. First disclaimer is, if you are vegetarian, vegan, I'm gonna just briefly touch on like animal cruelty. So if that's not your cup of tea, not anything you want to listen to, of course I understand. Please just exit out the video. But I will have more story times coming up, so if you want to subscribe and see those that's not about animal cruelty, maybe, okay, no, not about animal cruelty, please feel free to subscribe down below. Another disclaimer, I'm just saying my experience on the factory. Obviously I could be biased. Like, I coming into this video being like I hated working there, but some people may love it, so don't take my video as a yeah, I'm never gonna work at this factory because of her experience. Don't do that, but just I'm telling you my experience, and I'm a little dramatic sometimes, so yeah. Also, what else? I thought I heard another disclaimer. I can't remember now. Oh, it's been like 2-3 years since I've worked there, since everything. I do not have the best memory. I'm gonna be honest, I do not. So I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, I remember this and that. So I'm sorry if I'm gonna be like, yeah, I can't remember that, because I honestly cannot, and I'm not gonna try to lie about it. But I feel like I remember enough to make it a whole story time. And I decided, literally, I have notes here. Like, I try writing notes about like, okay, I'm gonna say this and that, but honestly, I'm just gonna wing it. I'm gonna try and do it in sections, like story time of how I got the job, me actually working the job, environment, the people, and all that. So I don't know. However it's gonna happen, it's gonna happen. And I think that's all the disclaimers. Maybe if I forget one, I'm gonna just put it obviously on the screen, like a black screen. I already listened to my podcast. Okay, this is not a podcast, this is actually a YouTube video, but I did start a podcast like 2 years ago or something, and I kind of want to start it back up. I feel like everyone's just on that podcast podcast kick, and I love podcasts. And I'm like, why not just start one? Literally, I'm just talking to a camera, and not camera. Well, yeah, camera, talking to whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm getting out of hand, but now let's get into it, because this might be a very, very long video. So if you want to listen to this while doing the dishes or walking your dog, going to school, whatever, feel free to. And let's get into it. All right, y'all, we're getting personal a little bit. A little personal up to here. My slippers just fell off, okay? But let me just like skim through my notes. I don't think I need it, but I just, you know, sometimes when you have like a thought in your head, you want to write it down. We just gonna talk, okay? So where do I even start this story? Because it's like, oh, it's a lot. Okay, so in the summer of 2019, August to be exact, my mom, my two little sisters, and I packed up and moved to Missouri. Don't ask me why. I really don't know the actual reason why we moved to Missouri, but we decided to move to Missouri. Literally, like, most of our family was still back home in Maryland, but we moved to Missouri and we lived there. We just packed up our bags and we took the plane there, and then we had a long ride to this small town we lived in. I'm not gonna say the name of the small town just because it's very small, and I don't know. I'm just not. For some reason, we ended up in Missouri from Maryland, and it was just a very different feel. It was like, you know, small town vibe, and I never lived in like a small town like that. I lived in like a small town type place, but it was never a very small town. Like, this place had no Uber, had no buses, public transportation, whatever, like Maryland did. So it was very different. That's why I wrote things down. I just had to know how to organize. In Missouri, this small town, we moved into an apartment. My sister also, my older sister, she lived there already. That's how Missouri wasn't really random. Obviously, we knew someone who lived there. We knew a couple people actually who lived there. But she was already living there, and we were in an apartment, and, you know, we're just like getting settled, getting vibing in Missouri, just trying to figure out what life is here now, pretty much. I think we're like in an apartment, and, you know, apartments, to pay apartment, you need money to pay for rent. So we were like, okay, we gotta start looking for jobs, because it's like, obviously we're not gonna just sit here and not work, because who's gonna pay the rent, period. So I was looking where I came from. I was working at kids' jobs, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna look at kids' places like daycares, and there were like very limited online even openings for daycares, but I think I applied to maybe 1 or 2 daycare, and my mom, I think she was applying to like Walmart or something. I can't remember. I was applying Walmart, I was applying PetSmart, I applied all these places trying to get a job. And like my mom too, obviously she was looking for a job because we both just moved there. We didn't have a job. My sister already had her job, and I'm gonna get into that a little later. And we're looking for jobs, and I'm calling, no one's getting back, and we're like, listen, we're not getting a job. So my older sister, she briefly mentions like, oh, why don't you work at this place? Mentions the HOG Factory. I'm not gonna say the name because it is a pretty big company, and I don't know. I mean, I don't think I got money. I can't even get sued, so I'm not trying to get sued. So I'm just not gonna say the name to be safe. But it probably doesn't matter because I don't know. But just to be safe, I'm not saying the name, period. So she briefly recommended this HOG Factory, and immediately, I'm like, no, like, I'm not working in a factory. Like, I just don't want to be in that environment, like what I've seen on TV. I'm like, that's not me. I don't want to work in a factory. And she was like, no, it's good. Like, this is where I get kind of blurry on remembering things. My mom, she was like, oh, why don't I apply to where you're working? Because she was also working in some factory. My sister was like, no, I don't think you like this. It's like weird hours, but she was right. It was kind of like, the way she worked was like overnight shifts or something like that. And I didn't really want to do overnight shifts. I never did an overnight shift at the time. Or I never did one at all in my life, I think. So I didn't want to do like an overnight shift. And my mom was like, yeah, that's probably like too much for me. But my sister was like, hey, I know people who worked at this place, and like it's easy for you to like just apply. Because there was like a carpooling system. Some people don't want to drive all the way there. It was about like 30 minutes away, this big factory. So, you know, most people didn't want to drive. So there was a carpooling system where you can like get in a person's car and you just pay them $25, like by the end of the week, I think. Okay, I'm gonna get into the pay. See, I'm like all over the place. I'm gonna get into the pay also. Like, you guys are just like, oh, you just pay $25 by the end of the week. What if you don't have $25? You're gonna have money by the end of the week. I'm gonna get into that later though. So she was like, hey, I know someone that has space in the car and watch you guys apply here. And you know me, I was 20 years old. I was like, I do not want to work at a factory. Like, that's not me. Like, I work at kids places. I work at retail. I didn't work at race all the time, but you know, I work at these places. I'm like, I don't want to work at a freaking factory. Like, no, especially a hog factory. No thanks. So fast forward, we're still not getting calls from jobs, and you know, we got to start paying rent. So my mom got a call because we knew someone in Missouri, or got a call from someone, and this person on the phone told him like, hey, this hog factory is hiring, is doing like an open interview at some store downtown, smallest downtown ever in this small town. They're doing like some open interview, and I think you guys should go get an interview, see if you get the job at this hog factory. And my mom was like so happy. She was like, oh my gosh, like, Joyce, let's go, like, we need a job, let's do this. I'm like, no, like, I think I was like, not throwing tantrum, but I was like, I do not want to work there. She was like, girl, let's just go and just, let's just see what happens. Like, maybe we won't even get the job. Let's just go and see what happens. So I was literally just, I felt so defeated. I was like, come on, like, I don't want to work at a factory. I don't want to work just with the people there. I just didn't want to do that. And she was like, let's just go and check it out. Like, just, you know, let's just go. So finally she convinced me to go. Yep, I think she even gave me a shirt to borrow for this interview. And I was like so mad. Like, guys, I was a mad 20-year-old, but I was like just so angry. I'm like, y'all can't force me to work here if I don't want to work here. But obviously I wasn't realistically thinking like, girl, you don't have a job. You gotta pay rent somehow. So like, what's up? What are we gonna do? So she convinced me to go. I remember she gave me like this blue shirt or whatever. I wish I had a picture of that day. I don't know why I wouldn't even take a picture, even though I was mad, but she gave me like this blue type blouse shirt, and I wore like black pants or something. And she was like, okay, let's go. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to this interview, but I'm not even gonna try it at all. I'm gonna just make sure I don't get the job. So, yo, like, yeah, they won't hire me. So it's not like I'm saying no, but they did hire me, you know? So that's what I thought would work. So we get into downtown. Literally, it was like a walk, so it wasn't far at all, but we head to that store and we go into the basement of the store because it was being held in the basement of the store. It was like, this store was like, what do you call it, a small store? Not a bodega, like a small shop, African shop, where this lady sold like African groceries. But the basement of it, that's where they held their interviews. And like, we get down there and there's like a whole bunch of people. So a little backstory on this small town we're living in. I feel like this would give things away, kind of, but honestly, it doesn't matter. If you know it, you know. If you don't, you don't. But I'm not going to physically say the name. But this small town, there was a lot of, so I'm Congolese, but I was born in America. I was born in Maryland. It's like small town. There was a lot of Congolese there. And like some of these Congolese, they came. I didn't like that. That was actually really creepy. The Congolese here, they'll like migrate here from Congo, like their home country. So they would come down here and they'll like find jobs, work in these places. So there was a lot of them downstairs in the basement. And like, that's kind of why I like living in that town, because you see people who are literally your people. Like, I feel like in Maryland, I knew Congolese, but I barely seen them around. Saw them. I barely saw them around, but here it's like, everywhere you turn, they're there. So we get into this basement, there's a whole bunch of Congolese, and yes, some of them didn't speak English, because like I said, some of them just came from their home country to try to find jobs, and a lot of them didn't know English. So we're like, it was like this basement of the store, and there was like chairs in a circle. Yeah, there's like chairs in a circle, and then we sat down in the chairs waiting for our turn. This part is also kind of blurry for me, because I don't remember what exactly happened, but I do know we're sitting in the chairs, and one by one, they would call us in the room for like a interview, and it was my turn. And I was like, okay, like I said, I'm not gonna try this interview. Like, I'm literally just gonna do the minimum and just be like, yeah, I'm not gonna try. So it's my turn. This lady's asking like questions. Why do you apply for? Oh, I said the name. I gotta block that out. So why are you applying here? Why you interview questions? And literally first it was like we filled out a form, like an online form, and we just like answer questions. And literally my questions were like one answer. I was like, I don't know, I needed money, whatever. So then it was an interview time, and where this lady who works at the hog factory, she's like human resource, whatever you call them, then she would like literally physically interview us face to face. So when it was my turn, I was like, oh, like I just chose here. I think it was just something like my mom made me do it or something like that. Like I was not trying to get the job, y'all. So I was like, yeah, my mom made me do it. And she was like, oh, like just asking interview questions. I don't remember the questions, but it was just like simple interview questions. So after that, it was done. This is so bad. I can't remember if they told us on that day we got the job or they called us later, but just know after this interview we got the job. And obviously I was upset. I was like, dang, like am I just that good of an interviewer? I can't even not do a bad job because how the heck I get a job? Like I legit did not even try on the answers on the application. I didn't even try to answer the interview, but somehow I got the job. So I'm like, okay, this part one of those jobs, they really needed people. So we got the job. My mom was really excited about it. She was like, oh my gosh, like we're working here, like we're gonna do this and that. I'm like, you know what? My mom is happy and I'm like, I'm not gonna try to sour the mood. So I was like, okay, like let me just at least try. Maybe it won't be as bad. Maybe like, you know, like maybe I like it. I don't know. So I decided to like just, you know, pretending to be happy or actually just got a little excited for her. But I was like, okay, this is great. We got the job, we get to work. So fast forward, I'm skipping ahead, but we got the job info and we also got orientation dates. So we're gonna get into orientation time. So I really want to focus on actually working at the job, so I'm kind of skipping ahead from certain timelines, but I just want to get into orientation because orientation itself was like a little, yeah. So let's get into orientation. So this job, obviously it's a factory, so orientation is going to be very long. It's going to be very, very informational, a lot of information, and yeah, you're just going to have to bear through if you want to work at a job. So I believe first orientation was like mostly about safety, like this is what you do in this event, blah, 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 and all that other stuff, paperwork, pay, talking about all that. And then I remember the next orientation was a tour. So we had a tour of the whole factory, and this is the time where we got our uniforms. And I want to quickly explain the uniform for you guys, because it was like interesting. It was kind of cool wearing those uniforms, not gonna lie, but yeah. So we had a hard hat. There was different colored hard hats for who, like what you did. I believe if you were blue, you were a supervisor, blue hard hat. White, you were like a regular worker, factory worker, employee. There was yellow. Yellow is like, I can't remember if you were like sanitation or you were like in charge, something like that. And there was a red. Red was also either a manager or supervisor. By the way, I might let my dog out in a little bit just so she can roam around. So if you constantly see just a figure walking by my camera, it's her. I'm gonna try to like pause if she decides to walk by, but yeah, if you see a figure, it's gonna be a dog. What was I saying? Red, I can't remember if you were like the one at below the supervisor or whatever you were. I didn't care, but just know I had the white hat. So we had the white hat and we had like this long doctor type coat, very like thick material that at the end of each shift it would be filled with pig blood. Yeah. So we had brown rubber boots and what else? Brown rubber boots. Depending where you work, some people have knives. Maybe that's all I had. I have a picture of my uniform. Maybe I'll pop it up on the screen. But for me, that's really all I had because I didn't work with like cutting. I didn't work in the cutting section. But that's the uniform. It was like I said, I had a white hard hat, long lab coat, doctor coat, but it was like very thick material, and high big boots. So that's basically what you were. So orientation, they gave us that. They was like, okay, you can go get ready and we're gonna have a tour of the whole place. Oh, we had goggles too. I forgot that, but yeah, we had goggles. So my mom and I would go get ready. I think, yeah, they led us to the locker rooms and we get our uniform on and we meet like our orientation group in a little section, then we get the tour started. So first tour, they're showing us like the basics. There's like, this is the administrative office, HR office, whatever. That's kind of where we had the orientation. this, and then show like the cafeteria, this is the cafeteria, and there was another section. This was a huge factory, to be honest, but the section upstairs, they showed us, there was like, they call it the cut floor. That's where they basically packaged the meat that was processed in the kill floor. Yeah, they call that the kill floor. That's where they package like the meat and to go into like the packages, you know, the food and all that. Like you're cutting the meat, putting it in package. Yeah, they call it the cut floor. Super cold there, like really cold. I think it has to stay cold, so obviously like to keep it safe. But I never worked there in that area. My mom did, so she kind of has a little insight there. But they showed us that part, and then we got into the nitty gritty of the factory. So we're walking through, and we end up, I think we had to walk up steps. That's why I say this orientation was kind of like, they took us places and it was just all random, but we walked up steps and we were starting to get a tour of the kill floor. And I think you guys know why they call it the kill floor, because that's where they kill the pigs, the hogs, I'm sorry. This part where it gets into the animal cruelty part. So we got toward the kill floor, really hot. Like it was so freaking hot, you guys. Like I was sweating on this orientation. I'm like, nah, this is not where I'm gonna be working here. Like, please, no. It was like hot, so loud noises. Oh, that reminded me, I'm sorry. Like I said, I keep forgetting things. With the uniform, we had a hard hat, but also hard hat was a big like yellow headphones. And that's because of the noise in there. And I did lose my hearing while I was working there. Yeah, that, I think I'm gonna get into that if I remember. But yeah, with the hard hat, there was headphones. So also you had headphones on during this orientation. We got into the kill floor and we just took a tour, and it was pretty interesting. Like all you see is blood on the ground. Like you just see blood, guts, and everything. And they showed us like where they show us like where the pigs were, like where something. They didn't show us where they keep the live pigs, but they showed us like where the pigs go when they are, you know, is it euthanized or like put to death? Put to death. I'm sorry, I'm not gonna try to sugarcoat it. The pigs were put to death. I remember they showed us this one part. I remember we walked up the hill, not a hill, I'm sorry, walked up like some rounded steps. I don't remember where it was, because I don't think I went there at all during my time working there. But we walked up some rounded steps type place, and it was like really hot. And I remember there was this one section, you can hear, ooh, this is like so weird, but you can hear like the pigs squeals, basically begging for their lives. Like you can literally hear it. Like even, I think when we started the job, there was like a break area where you sit and you can literally hear that. I'm like, oh, this is very different from other jobs I worked at. Very different. But yeah, we got a tour of the whole factory pretty much. So that orientation thing was done. And I remember we also were able to, I think they had us working at like some section to start off with. So I remember they had me like, what do you call it? I really forgot the names of these things, but I think you cut like parts of the inside of the pig. Like literally there would be pigs' bodies open up, hanging in front of you, and you're like cut some parts. And so also, if you're used to it, this job literally would be nothing to you. But or during orientation, they had us like in different sections, so I would like cut the pigs. I remember there was this one supervisor. This one supervisor, he was a very interesting character. I'm gonna get into him when I get into the other section. But he would like constantly check up on me, would be like, are you good or good? I was like, yeah, I'm good. Like, yeah, I'm good. And there was like, I mean, some supervisors, they were honestly nice to you if you, they were nice sometimes. I'm gonna say that. But yeah, orientation's done. And obviously after orientation, you have your first day of work. So let's get into working. I said the name again. All right, guys, the big dog's out. Hi, Roxy. Can you please go lay down over there and chew your toy? Let's hear her. Lay down. Want to stay here? Can I pet you? And can you just stay quiet, please? We're on the next section, which is working at The HOG Factory. I keep trying to say the name. If you always say the name, I'm sorry. Lay down. This girl, I'm sorry, she's obsessed with me. So she would literally use any excuse to get close to me. Can you please lay down? I'm trying to talk to you too. So, our first day comes by and they give us like assignments of where we're gonna work and hi. So they give us assignments of where we're gonna work. So I was placed on working as, what do you call it? The shaving section. So this is the part where like after they murder the pigs, I'm kidding, let me not say murder, kill the pigs, dissolve the pigs. The pigs will literally, like I said earlier, they were hanged on some conveyor belt thing and they're hanging, oh my gosh, they're hanging down and basically they're gonna like come right in your face. Ooh, maybe I should have said that. So you guys, I got put with the shaving, meaning I'm gonna have to shave off. Like I said, the first day comes around and luckily my mom and I were put at the same position. So everyone in this factory has different positions, of course, so to make sure it's all running like a factory. So my mom and I were put in the same position, which is really good because I had separation issues at this place. I knew nobody, and there was like barely people around my age. Like, believe it or not, I was the youngest at the job. I was probably one of the youngest because there was no one there my age, and people there barely spoke English. Like, they spoke Lingala, but I wasn't really good at speaking Lingala or French. So I really couldn't talk to anyone, so I was pretty much quiet. But I got put with my mom. We were in charge of like, not in charge, sorry. We were in charge. We were in charge of like shaving the like basically T-zone area of the pig and like the eye area because you can't have hair on there. So literally, imagine having about 200, 300 pigs up in your face and you gotta quickly shave because like they're coming through a conveyor belt and they're stopped for like probably 10 seconds or so. Quickly shave what you can off of their face, and then the next pig comes by. You gotta do it quick. So luckily it wasn't just my mom and I. We had like a whole group of people like we kind of felt also close with. A whole group of people like just shaving, doing their part, shaving this, shaving that, and basically you could just shave what you could. Ow! Okay, you're going in back. I'm sorry, I had to put her away. Like, she would legit hit the tripod of her tail and get all up in my grill. I'm gonna let her out later, don't worry. But I'm gonna have to say this whole part over because I kind of forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, so my mom and I were put at the same spot at the shaving area. So I was happy because like I said, I would be with my mom and I had, how'd she put my slippers down? And I had like some kind of separation anxiety because like I said, I knew no one and most people didn't speak English and I didn't speak the language well. Also didn't speak French like fluently. Only my mom did. So no one, I said this already, but like I said, it was like, I was like the youngest one. There were people, they were barely my age. They were like, if you lived part in the area, you're just going to college at my age. I wasn't going to college at the time. So I was like kind of lonely. But we put at this place and like I said, imagine like 200, 300 pigs. Maybe it was probably like over that, to be honest, but coming at your face, passing by you have to like shave them really quick. Then the next pig. That's what you did all day. Like I said, when people say like things are factory work is literally the same thing over and over and over again. Like I'm standing there shaving, next pig, shaving for the whole freaking day for like hours. I'm gonna talk about later, but like a bunch of hours. So we're doing that the whole day, and for this section, we didn't have the white lab coats. They gave us blue ones, which are kind of cuter. Not cute, but you know what I mean. They gave us blue lab coats, so it was like a whole different type of vibe. And this, I kind of like this section. Like it still hurt my body so much, but it was like, you know, it was just chill kind of like. So I remember like with my big headphones, I was like sneak my AirPods in and I was quickly listening to a podcast because I think we had a pocket like the inside of the lab coat like right here. So I'll sneak my phone in and have my AirPods in my ear, like one AirPod, so this is a podcast while I'm doing that because literally like I cannot stand and do the same freaking thing in general, but I can't do it without music or a podcast or some true crime thing playing because I'm like, I'm gonna go crazy. Like, I'm sorry, I have to sneak in my AirPods. But the whole time we were there doing that for like months on end. And like I say, you just kind of meet new people. You meet different type of people. I feel like maybe this might be just people I met there were very interesting. Some were very sketchy. For a while, just like talking to people. I think the date started at like, for some of us it was like 6. It depends also where you were. We were like kind of in the beginning, so we started a little bit earlier than others. So we started around like, I forgot, I think 7 a.m. Like we would literally get there, guys. Oh, I was so tired. We would wake up at 5 a.m., get ready, get in the car, because the guy who's like carpooling everyone would get to our place, and we would take this long drive. I'm telling you guys, this drive, either I was sleeping or listen to Bailey Sarian. I think it's the time she was kind of like, she was popping, but she was like fairly new. So I remember every time I listened to Bailey Sarian on this car ride to work, I would listen to her new episodes. Like me and her, like we have a connection. Bailey Sarian is literally my YouTuber drug. She really is, because I was so videos and just the way she says it, and then like she literally was what kept me sane. Maybe I should tell you guys a timeline. Jumping from place to place because it's hard for me to remember everything. Let's talk about a typical day, how my day looked like work at this HOG factory. So I would wake up, like I said, around 5 a.m. or something, and usually I would probably shower the night before, because I just didn't want to shower in the morning because I'm gonna get dirty anyway. So I'm like, I don't know, some of y'all may think that's disgusting, but sometimes I shower the night before, and you really want me to wake up at 5 a.m., have the energy to shower and get ready? No. So I get ready. Usually I'll wear like something simple. It would be t-shirt, like jeans. Leggings were even allowed. Yeah, leggings were allowed to wear. Maybe sometimes I have a quick breakfast, maybe not, because there will be breakfast at the job place. The guy who's carpooling gets to our place, and we go out, we get in the car, we say good morning. It is dark out because it's literally like 6 something or 5 something. We make our way to the factory, which is a long ride. And like I said, I'm always either sleeping in the car or I'm listening to Bailey Sarian. And so it varies on how tired I am. And we get to the job, he parks, and we get out, and there's like a employee entrance we go through. I think we will show our ID card we had. We scan, and we walk through. And where we walked up from, when we walk in, we were greeted with the cafeteria. So the cafe, and this place, their food was pretty good. This place, they gave you breakfast. I think there was like snack or lunch, breakfast and lunch. I got, obviously. So breakfast time, you could have a chance to like get food in the morning, like just get something quick. And it was pretty easy because all you have to do is you get what you want from like the breakfast area, and then you swipe your card. It would not charge you then, it would charge your paycheck. So you'll have like section your paycheck being like breakfast, lunch, which was pretty cool. I never had a job like that. And I remember there was times I'm like, I should bring my lunch because I don't want my paycheck to be all about food. Like half of it is food, but the food was good. Like I can't complain. It was pretty easy. Just swipe and you got food. So Mom and I would eat breakfast and we'd just be talking. Sometimes my supervisor would come and be like, hey, like, do you think you can come work at this place? Whatever. It was time to get ready. It just started around like 7 a.m. maybe, or 6:50, maybe a little earlier than that. But we were head to the locker rooms. We have to take off our like shoes and stuff. We got to put on the big rubber boots, put on, wherever we're working, the coat for it, the big headphones, hard hat with the big headphones. And sometimes, like I said, I'll sneak my AirPod in. Just depends if I charge my AirPod or not, and my phone in the thing. And we were ready to go. So there was 2 ways we could have taken to get to our area. There was like long steps, but sometimes you just don't want to be walking long steps all the time. So there was a shortcut where, this is so funny, but there's a shortcut, like right when we get out of the locker room, like you pull it up. It's kind of like, it looked like a garage door or something. They didn't want you to go this way, but sometimes we were just doing it quick. And most of the time, they really didn't care. Like most of the supervisors, if they were cool, some of them did, be impressed, but you'll pull it up and then you literally have to run through pigs, just like conveyor belt, like long, huge, like these are huge pigs, you guys, hogs, whatever. They're huge, and you gotta run through them so you can get to the floor you're at, or you have to go up the long steps. But like sometimes I'm lazy we're all lazy and I didn't want to go up the steps. Plus I fell, because imagine having rubber boots and then you have to go up these like brick type steps. There they were like cement brick steps, and I fell on there. It was embarrassing. So I'm like, I'd rather be taking that hog way. Like, I don't care if I might get hit. Like, I have gotten hit before with the hog just like right into me, but you know, I wasn't injured. So we would go into that, and then we would go to a designated area. So like I said, if I was at the shaving, I would be working like towards like the back, which is technically the front, because we're like kind of like we're at the shaving area. The pigs are not cut or anything. They're just like put on the hooks to be in front of you. And like they just died. Like these pigs were just dead and they're like on the hooks coming to you. So then you're shaving them, and like the faces you would see, I would get nightmares, but like you would see like dead pigs' faces. So like some of the pigs would be like, or like, it was pretty sad. So I would be shaving. I mean, a lot of us before we start, a lot of us be just like talking, and then it was time to start. So we had here like a alarm type thing, goes like and that's how we know like it's about to start. I'm like, oh great, here we go, we're gonna be here for a couple hours till break. So the pigs would come, we're shaving the whole day. I mean, obviously we have breaks, but the whole day, same thing, every single day, the whole day. We will end around, it depends, sometimes it'll be 4, sometimes it'll be 5 if it was overtime. There was one time we were there until 7 p.m. and we started at 7 a.m. Like, that's because of it. If the machine is like, has some issues or something, like we will be there for a while. We'll be shaving the pig until it's break time. So we had 2 breaks. Our first break was like 15 minutes. And this break is just like you're just gonna go to like a random area and just sit there. We usually have a break area where we'll sit like on some steps, and like I mentioned steps earlier, around that area you can hear the pigs dying. Like, and there's a room right there. You obviously can't open it, but you can hear the pigs like squealing for their lives. Yeah, we would sit there because that was just where we could sit for a break. Sometimes the supervisor would be out there and we would be talking with him, and we sit there, break's over, we go back to our spot. Then we had a lunch break. I probably switched around. We probably had a lunch break first and then that 30-minute break, whatever. Then we had a lunch break. This lunch break was like an hour. Yeah, it was about an hour. And this lunch break, we're like, sometimes we wouldn't have time to like go back to the locker room and get like our stuff on. So we literally were like right from lunch, we're like leave our work area, wash our hands, and just head straight to the lunch area. We had to punch out, of course, for the lunch. And we're going to lunch area. It's usually a packed cafeteria, and it's the same thing like breakfast. You would go there, you'll see what they have, see what you want, choose the stuff, and then you swipe your card, and then it will get off your paycheck. So sometimes I'll bring my lunch. If I did, there will be a lunch area. It wasn't in a fridge, but there's like a lunch area where you just keep your lunch stuff and you grab it once, you know, it's lunchtime. So it just depends on your mood and your day, and if you want to keep spending money on lunch, you would just swipe your card. If you don't, you bring your lunch. So we'll sit there, eat lunch. Mom and I would just talk about random stuff, our job, and I'll probably say how much I hate it, how much my body hurts, and I'll just be swimming behind it. Because guys, I am not lying to you. Like, that's why when I'm looking for jobs now, I'm kind of looking for like low work jobs. Like the job I'm working at now, it kind of hurts my body. But like I've been trying to find easier job, because ever since working at a factory, I know some people say you get used to it. Obviously I did, but it's just not something you would want to just have on your body the whole day. It takes such a toll on your body. Like, it hurts so much, guys. Like, it hurts so much. So after lunch, we'll go back. I'll be like, great, we're here for another time. We'll go back, and then we'll do the shaving until the end of the day. At the end of the day, usually it's you wash your hands. You gotta make sure your tools are like clean. You put your tools back where they're supposed to be. You clock out. You clock out, I think. Yeah, so you clock out on like some keypad thing. And my mom and I, we would take another shortcut, because like, why not? So there was like where we worked, there was like a area. It looked like a whole tunnel looking at it. It was really creepy now that I think about it. It was like dark and like you just have things hanging, like pigs hanging. We'll take that way because it's like a door that'll take you right to the front where you're supposed to clock out. And we would take that way, and there'll be blood on the floor, and there'll just be hanging pigs, and it's just all this blood and gut stuff. And we'll get there, we get to the front, clock out, change back into our clothes we came with, and that would be the whole day. We had a home. Sometimes we would stop by somewhere to like get groceries or something, and we had home. And most of the things I do is just rest. Obviously I'll shower, I'll rest, take a nap, eat, and then we do it all over again for a while. So I want to get into hours and pay and how that all worked out. It's pretty quick section. So I like stopping the camera every time I'm like, feel like I'm going to talk about something new. I don't know, it just helps me. Okay, so let's get into the hours and pay. This is the quickest section. So I have my laptop here because I want to actually give you guys the right information, so I'm not like talking out of my butt. But before I search out, I'm gonna say what I remember, and I'm gonna just search and see if I was right. So the hours will usually vary. Like sometimes you're working Monday through Friday, and sometimes you're working Monday through Saturday, and you only have one day off of the week. Y'all, I would cry. I would literally dread going to work because I'm like, I don't even have a weekend. Like, no, like, why am I working Monday through Saturday? I don't like it. I work Monday through Saturday. Hours, like I said, will vary. Sometimes it'll be 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Actually, no, 4 p.m. was a good day, I feel like. Probably 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Some days it'll be 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Like I said, if the machines are having a problem, if they're having a problem with one part, the whole situation is messed up. The whole, like, flow is messed up. So I know for sure Sundays was definitely like an off day, but like Monday through Saturday, sometimes we'll be there for just forever. It just takes a toll on your body. Like, just imagine going every day, seeing pigs every day, dead pigs every day, cutting, shaving every day for weeks. Like, you don't think I was going crazy? I was. I wasn't fit for this. I was fit for the city girl. Like, I was not fit for no country girl, Midwest factory. Okay, let me stop. But I'm so serious. So let's get into the pay. So what I remember, my starting pay was about $19.25, but I think it went up to $19.50. And it also can vary where you're working. But let me search up, just so I'm not just saying ish. Wait a minute. Oh my gosh. I'm searching up the pay for this place. I think it's getting shut down. Oh no, it's still open. Yo, I can't wait to get into the tea of this place because this place gave me sketchy vibes. And oh, I gotta tell y'all, I can't wait to get the place. But let me quickly try to find the pay because that's what I'm trying to look for. Maybe I did get paid around like 17. I started with 17, then I went up to 18 or something, or 19. I think I went up to 18. Oh, just know it was in that field. $17, $18, $17, $19. That's when, like, how much I was getting paid, and they'll go up sometimes. So you would get paid every week. That's why sometimes, like, low key, I was making bank in Missouri because you would be working, and I had Chime baking, and Chime paid you 2 days early. So I get paid on Wednesday. Think of getting there every Wednesday. You get paid money. And you're not getting paid like $500 or something. Like, you're getting paid for the hours you put in. So like, I would be getting paid like $900 sometimes, $800 sometimes, every single week, Wednesday. You can literally imagine how much money I made. And I really wish I saved better because it would have helped so much. But you can just imagine just how much money I was making. Like, sometimes it was around the field of $900, 900 something every week. Literally not bi-weekly, every single week. And I'm like, yeah, this is worth the hard work we're putting in. So you would get paid that time every week. Obviously Friday, but I got paid Wednesday because my bank paid me 2 days early. What else? Hours, like I said, vary from like 10 hours, 12 hours. It will vary from that. And yeah, I think that's all about the pay. Like, ain't nothing special. But that is the pay section. So we're gonna get into, what do you even call this section? Everything else. Because yeah, there's some tea. Let's call this section T. Yeah. Let's do T. Okay, now T. Gossip. Drama. Yes, let's call it drama. So there was a time where this part actually, like, it made me cry, and now think about it, I'm kind of feeling it again. But I was working at a shaving place, and just out of nowhere one day, randomly, I think my supervisor came to me, was like, hey, can you follow me? I'm like, huh? And like, we're all confused. I'm looking at my mom like, what's going on? And the guy was like, hey, can you follow me? He took me to this place, was like, oh, can you put this on? It was like a yellow, you know, like those people wear, like when they're cleaning like dirty stuff, like yellow sanitation type thing. Is that what you call it? Like, it's baggy. Is you put it on, it's like, it covers your legs and your arms. Yeah, that thing. He told me like, can you put this on? I'm like, okay. And he leads me to like this area, I don't know, like this weird back area. So basically, he just told me like, he showed me, he was like, hey, like wash, what do you call it? Like, it's like, it was part of the pig, and you like put it through like this metal rod, and water's like shooting out of it. So you gotta do this and put them in the sink. You're basically washing poop out of pig's stomach. Was that what it was? Or intestine or something. Basically, you're washing poop the whole time. He's like, can you do that? And I'm like, why am I here? Like, am I moved or something like that? He was like, yeah, you're gonna be here for a little while. I'm like, great. Because now I didn't want to work here. And first I was working for my mom at the shaving area, but then you moved me from my mom to work at this place around a bunch of people I don't even know and I can't even talk to. So I was there washing literal shits, poop out of whatever it was. I don't remember the name of it. But I was like, they put it to another rod and poop will come out, go into the drain, and I have to put like something like that. So I'll be doing that the whole time. They moved me there. Like, y'all, I don't know what it was. I don't know if I was strong, but I was moved so many places. Like, they just wanted me everywhere. They wanted me for real. Like, they did. Like, they're washing it, take it off. And the drama about this place, because this is where they got me messed up. So the first day I moved there, without my consent, they just take me there. I was crying. I was like, I don't know these people. Like, don't move me for my mom. Like, I don't like y'all, any of y'all, period. So then, like, that day ended. My mom was like, oh my gosh, like, where did they put you? I'm like, I don't know. Like, they had me washing poop out of this pig intestine or something. She was like, oh. The day, in the morning, I get to work and the supervisor be like, hey, can you go to the pig washing, whatever you call that thing? I'm like, why? And the drama about that place, because they just want to do the most. Hello, like, I did not go to school to learn how to wash pigs poop out of their stomach, whatever you call that thing. They called me to a meeting in the office. My supervisor called me to a meeting, like, you're going too slow. Like, you're washing this poop thing too slow. You got to pick up the pace. Like, look at it. You start pooping it, whatever. I'm like, okay. Like, why are you talking to me like that, first of all? And like I said, I did not go to school to learn these things. Like, I didn't want to work here. Y'all moved me without really the proper training. Y'all there was like, okay, can you do this? Yeah, do that. Stay here. I mean, what do you want me to do? Like, have fast arms? No. Brought me to the office, was like, if you keep doing that, it's like, not felony, what do you call it? Penalty or something like that. I don't know. And obviously, I was crying once again. I was like, great, this is just, I don't know if I was crying because I was embarrassed or crying because like he was yelling at me, because he kind of was. And he was like, basically, do this. And I was like, great. So I tried to pick up the pace a little bit, whatever. They said I got a little better, but I was still like struggling a little bit. And I was like so mad. I was like, you're my enemy, because I did like that. Like, why would you even do that? And like his sidekick with the red hat would come up and like show me the inside of this thing, showing it's still poop in it. I'm like, what do you want me to do? Y'all want me to go fast and y'all want me to take the poop out at the same time? I'm sorry, like, what do you want me to do? So I guess I was so like functional in that place, like they really love me. they moved me again to another place. So basically I was working wherever they wanted me for the day. Like the supervisor, like I said, were coming to me and being like, hey, can you work at this place today? Hey, can you work at this place today? I'm like, okay. This other place they had me, this is where I'm gonna get into it, but this other place they had me was called, I don't know what it's called, but ooh, what was I doing here? I think this place I would, oh my gosh, I cannot remember. They put me everywhere. I don't know. They legit put me everywhere, because one time I was even at washing pigs' heads. They legit put me everywhere in this place. But this one place, I was like on a platform, and I would, I think I would wash like the middle of the pig, like after it's been cut, I would just wash it off. I think this one, oh, suck it, that's what it's called. You suck off, I don't know what you call it. It was like some weird, I think bone marrow or something. I was sucking off, it was like a sucking machine. Yeah, that's what it was. That one was pretty easy for me, because it was like literally you suck it off. Like think of like you have a vacuum and you like suck up what, rubber or like slime, I don't know, you do that. That's basically what I did for the whole day. So I would like get the vacuum, like some vacuum thing, suck it off and do that, and I'll do that for the whole day. It was kind of cool because like I was on platforms, like people walk by you, somebody would say hi, like there was, like I said, there was some nice supervisors. Yeah, but I was working there for a little bit, like sucking, I think you call it bone marrow, I don't know what you call it. And there I was like at the end, so like sometimes when I'm working, we're like close to ending the day, I'll see my mom walk by all happy, like she say hi to me, and then she will go clock out. I'm like, take me with you, and I have to like, I get off like a little bit after her, and I would do that. And like I said, they moved me to pig's head, where I would literally wash the inside of a pig or something. I think it was washing like their mouth or something. And where else did they put me? I know there was like another spot, some random like dark spot they put me at. Listen, I was multifunctional at that place. Like they probably knew my worth, maybe, or they used me, I don't know, to venture me. But I was playing a lot of places, and my mom also, like, I remember this one time, it scared me so much. This one day, I was working at some section, whatever they moved me at for the day, and the day was done, and usually like I would like go to my mom and we'll meet up with each other, go to the locker room. And this time, like, she was not where I usually meet up with her. I was like, hold up, this is weird, this is suspicious. So I was like looking around for her, and I was like so confused. I go to the locker room, she was not there, and I'm like asking around, I'm like, have you seen my mom? Have you seen my mom? Like, I'm like, you know, communicating with them. They're like, no, I haven't seen your mom, something like that. And I'm getting scared. I couldn't call her because her phone's usually off during work, like, of course. And I was like, you know, I'm a paranoid person. My whole family's part paranoid, but I'm a paranoid person. So I was like thinking like the worst. I'm like, hold up. Like, did they tell her to go home? Did this happen? Whatever. So then I'm like in the hallway, and I see her walking up, all happy, while I'm here panicking. She's like, oh, hey, Joyce. I'm like, where were you? They moved her to the cut floor, like I mentioned earlier. So she would move to the cut floor, which is upstairs, very away from where I was, the kill floor. And she was like doing stuff there. I'm like, they really just be moving people like that, like legit. They just be moving people, but she seemed to like it there. I low-key did want to work there too. I feel like it was kind of easier, but I never got the chance to actually work there. So like I said, like they just moved my mom and I. My mom, I think they moved her. Yeah, they moved her a couple times too in this area. And like, my mom being like, oh, okay, like that supervisor, like what's the word? Like, kind of like he likes you, but not like that. But like, he's like, okay, like he trusts you because he actually be working everywhere. Like every morning, I'm telling you, it was like, can you work here today? Like, can you work here today? So that's basically like how the day went. Like I was, oh my gosh, I was in another spot. See, I'll be forgetting. I was at another spot, which this spot was where I lost my hearing. I really wish I could remember, but I was at some other spot where this was like, I walk up steps, I'm on a platform. I think this one you're also washing something. For the life of me, I cannot remember it now. Just know they moved me a lot of places. And I remember I lost my hearing one time. But this was like not, I don't think it was because of the factory. Maybe it low-key was. But I legit lost my hearing out of one ear, and I could not hear anyone. I think it was this ear. I could not hear anyone. I went to urgent care. I was like really scared. I'm thinking like, is it for my job? Like, is it because, you know, it's loud noises, but I'll be wearing my headphones. And I went to urgent care. She was like, it's some allergy type thing. Because like, if you look at my ear, it kind of looks like bubbles or something. That's kind of weird. It was like bubbles thing. She was just like, oh, this is an allergy thing. Just take Benadryl. Just take this and you'll be good. And it did work. So, you know, I wasn't going to fight her. But I lost my hearing while I was working in this factory. It was kind of hard to hear. Like my supervisor, like he would have to scream to me for me to hear. And I remember working the area. That's why I brought that up, because working the area, that was around the time I lost my hearing. I just don't remember what I was doing in that area, if I'm being honest. So we're gonna take a little break from like, what I did, what I worked, and we're gonna get into the people there, because the people there are interesting. The people, I mean the boys mostly, because let's get into the boys there. So this is the next section, boys. Get away from the drama section for a little bit, because there's a lot more drama, but I want to take a break and talk about the boys, because every time it just keeps popping up, so I have to talk about it, because this video has now been, I've been filming for what, over an hour. So I'm trying to get into the nitty gritty. So I have no idea what it was. Like, I'm not here trying to be cocky or whatever, because legit I was very secure about myself. At the time, I knew I did not look cute. I don't know what it was, but there were so much guys there that literally wanted to take me out, get a drink with me, or marry me. I lied to you not, and there was some that even liked me, but didn't physically tell it, but I know, like, something you can tell. Sorry, y'all. That was the door. That scared me so bad. I'm like, who is ringing? Like, no one's supposed to be ringing, but it was just a package, I guess. So let's get into the boys, because I was like in Maryland, 6.5, 7 out of 10. Missouri, judging from those guys, I was probably a 10 out of 10. And I want to get into that because it was, low-key, some of it was pretty weird. So I'm gonna get to this one guy who was in our orientation group. He was like this older white guy. He had a whole child. I think he had I think he had one child maybe. And he was old. Like, you can tell he was old. He was like old, but he was like 40s, late 40s, early 50s type old. And I remember we were talking one day. We were just like, I think we were at lunch or something. We were just talking to my mom. He sat next to us. And he was like a little creepy. And we were like just talking out of nowhere. He was like, oh yeah, like I think your daughter's beautiful. And mom was like, oh wow. He was like, yeah, like your beautiful mom. Like, I would like to marry her one day. I'm like, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like, hold up, me daughter? Or like, is there another daughter you haven't met before? And he just said in front of mom. Mom's like, oh my god, wow. And they're like, okay, like I'm 20. Like, yeah, I'm of age, but like I'm sure you're definitely way older than me. And it was just weird. And he would constantly like have like little flirtation things towards me. I'm like, sir, no. And you got like a 12-year-old daughter, no thanks. And there was this another one guy. This guy didn't know English well, but he knew enough English because he would basically harass me. I'm sorry, that's not a light word to you. For me to give him my number. I'm like, I'm sorry. No, there was like one time we were called into the office. I don't think it was like getting in trouble thing. I think it was like either they give you, I think it was getting close to COVID time, so they would give us like the, what you call it? The mask? Like some, you know that mask who, Aston Ray? Was it Aston Ray who wore it? One of them TikTokers wore it and like wore that. It has a mask instead of like an actual mask. They would give us that because of COVID time, when COVID started, because I started working there. It wasn't COVID, obviously, but we got next year. It was COVID, and that was a whole thing. We did not quarantine at all. We still hadn't been working. So everyone's having like their quarantine, not working, getting unemployment. Nope, we were still working. But I'm gonna get into that later. So there was this guy in the office, and he was Congolese like me, but he didn't know English well. Kind of tried to have a conversation with me a little bit. I was like, oh, like, blah, blah, this and that. And he was like, hey, like, can I have your number? I'm like, He's like, number, please, number. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't give a number. He's like, please, number. I'm like, no, I do not give a number. And literally since that day, like, when I see him or something, he will ask for my number. I'm like, no, like, hello, like, no. Did you not understand me? No, I would not give you my number. And he would just do that for constant. My supervisor. I never brought this up because I feel like, you know, sometimes you think you're crazy. You're like, okay, no, this person don't like me. But they be doing things you're like, I don't know. Like, my supervisor, he was like white. He wasn't like old, but he probably was like, he was obviously still older than me. He was probably like in his late 30s, maybe early 30s. I think he was actually really young. He was probably in his 30s, like early 30s when I was 20. So he was like a young boy. And he would do things, you're like, okay, this is like, you don't expect people to like you, like, especially like people in charge, but they would do some things you're like, I don't know. Like, sometimes when he's talking, he'll put his hand like on my back and be like, hey, can you do this for me? Or he would like, I would be like in my zone doing my work, and then I like kind of look over to the side, and then he does that thing like when guys stare at you and then they look away quick. You're like, interesting. The first day, like even way before I knew his name or something, he was like kind of staring at me when I was doing the orientation thing, like cutting whatever. And he was like stare at me like, how's it going? I'm like, oh, I'm good. Just having conversation. And at first he didn't know I spoke English. And then there was one time I was in the office a lot, man. Dang. But I was in that office and we're doing something. And he was like, oh, like, do you know, like, he's talked to me in a way like he feels like I doesn't know English. I was like, oh, like, I was born here, like, I'm from Maryland. He was like, oh, really? Oh my gosh, Maryland, that's so far. Like, and he started a conversation with me. I'm like, yeah, all right. And it was just like little tendency things, like they brush on you by accident, or they like touch your back a little bit. And you know, I was a 20-year-old, never had a boyfriend or anything, so like that type of attention, I was like, because he wasn't bad looking, he was pretty cute, so I'm like, I don't mind, like I can play along with this, I could be his favorite or something. Okay, let me stop. There was another boy also, I still have him on Instagram now, but I'm sure he doesn't watch my YouTube. I knew him because first we worked together. Also, like around town, we'll see each other. We'll mostly be at the same parties. A lot of people will be at the same parties, but I knew of him, so he's like pretty cool. But he also, I can't remember what he did. He also asked for my numbers, but I have his Instagram. And there's this one guy. Listen, this one guy, I was not being Delulu. I was not being Delulu because you guys tell me in the comments if you want to comment. You guys tell me, was I being Delulu? So there's this one guy. He wasn't from Congo, but I can't remember where he was from. Maybe Sudan or something. I think it was Sudan or something. He worked there. He was like kind of in charge of. He would always be like, there was one section I worked at where I said I was on the platform. He was always working there or something. So I'm getting kind of like goosebumps talking about it, but just out of nowhere, he would like talk to us because I think he spoke Swahili or something. And then during break times, like he would like come to my mom and speak to her, and they were both speaking Swahili because they know Swahili. Was it? Maybe. So they would talk like that. I'm like, oh, like he seems pretty cool. Like he, you know, he's sweet and stuff. I don't know what you call it. I really don't. He would kind of like flirt or something. Like I remember, he would like come by and was talking to us, like my mom and I was like, oh, like what's your name? He was like, Eric. I was like, oh, it don't matter. I was like, oh, I'm Joyce. Nice to meet you. He's like, yeah, nice to meet you. And there was one time. It was a break time, and I was like, my back was like facing this way, because like when I'm talking, I'm facing the person. He came behind me because like some people go out there to smoke and stuff. Like there's like a door right there. You know, the smoking culture there was very strong, very strong. Some people would go out there to smoke, and he would go out there to smoke and pass by, and y'all, Let me use my laptop. It has demonstration. I'm kind of built like a laptop. I was like standing here talking to my mom, facing this way. And his hand, absolutely no reason. No reason. His hand did this, like on my lower back. Like they walked by, it's like, hey, how's it going? I'm like, I was like what? Okay, this was one of the guys that like, I mean, obviously that's not right, but at the time I was like, he was the one guy I did not mind us getting attention from him. Like, hey, you want my number? Have it. You want my social security too? You can have it. It's yours. So, he was like literally, I want to describe him because he was fine. He was really fine. So he was like tall. Like I'm like 5'4". Yeah, I was like 5'4". I was like 5. I've been 5'4" for a while, to be honest. But I was like 5'4". He was like 6 feet, maybe a little over 6 feet. He was tall. He was dark. Like he was literally the definition of tall, dark, and handsome. He was tall, dark, and handsome. Like I love me a good chocolate man, but chocolate man that's tall. And he had like locks in his hair. I'm like, I should have pursued that. But I didn't want to pursue him. Like I want the guy to pursue me. Like shoot, if you're not pursuing me, then you don't want me. Period. But he was literally tall, dark, and handsome, guys. Like yeah, but I doubt he was the type of guy my mom would approve of me dating because he would smoke cigarettes like every day or something like that. But he was a sweetie. Like he would say hi to me every time I'm working and just wave at me. I'm like, if you want me, just say that. But like I had like a couple of this instances, like I'm saying, like the guys were really just, I really don't know what it was. I don't know what it was at all. Like I don't know if they seen like a person like me or something. Like I was bigger. Ooh, body shame. I'm getting to the body shame culture too because it was very eminent. Is that the word? I probably used the wrong word, but it was very present at that job. Body shame culture. Ooh, I'll tell you, things just pop up in my head as I'm telling stories right now. But like I said, like I don't know about the guys about it, but they all just wanted a piece of me, and I can't complain. I'm sorry, that's very. I mean, that's not narcissistic. Like, I'm just saying how it was. Like, I legit didn't know why, but they all take me out to beer. My mom's like, no, she can't drink. She's too young. This is so funny. Like, they'll ask to take me out to beer, marry me. Well, how did I forget this? There was 2 guys. One guy, when I was working at this other spot, I've been working everywhere at that place. I was working this other spot at the factory, and this guy comes up to me. He's like, kind of having a conversation. He's like, hey, like, do you have a boyfriend? Or something like that. I'm like, great. Like at this point, I was like, this has happened so much times. Is it raining? It's raining. It's happened so much times. Like I don't know what to say. Editing me here. I want to explain this instead of typing it because I feel like me just talking, it'll get through a lot. But I want to explain that at this point, I was so tired. Like, literally, this is not something I wanted. Like, I was tired of, like, the creepy comments. The guys constantly coming up to me, asking for my number when I always said I don't want to give it. Asking for Facebook, asking for all this stuff. So, I don't know if the video's coming across as it was like a game or I liked it. I did not. Like, it's gotten to a point, it was happening every single day. Like, I'm not exaggerating. Every single day, someone will come up to me. And then there'll be times like my mom's off work. You can just imagine how that would go. I'm all alone. More people come up to me. More people talking, just saying weird stuff. So I didn't want any of this. I really didn't. Like, before I was like, okay, this is cute. Like, a cute guy was like flirting with me, whatever. But after that, I'm like, I'm tired. Like, no, I just want to work and go home. I don't want to work and have people like touch me when I don't want to be touched. Do all these random stuff. So yeah, it's probably coming. I don't know if the video's coming across as me enjoying this, but I didn't. I was so tired and a little angry also. So yeah. At this point, but he's like, "Do you have a boyfriend?" I was like, "Yeah, I have a boyfriend." Like I do. He's like, "Oh, you have a boyfriend in Maryland?" Because a lot of these people just knew about us at this point. My mom would talk to them, and they just knew our life. I never really said anything, but they just knew our life. Like I was like, "Yeah, I have a boyfriend in Maryland." He was like, "Okay, well," something like that. There was this other guy who wanted me to be his girlfriend. He was like kind of flirted with me, asked me to be his girlfriend, but he had a whole wife back home. Y'all, I'm telling you, the culture there, everything, like, it's not somewhere I want to work again, because first, the guys there were just all just, some of them were creepy, some of them were fine, but it was just very, like, I just don't know what it was. Like, these guys were just very bold, and they would just say whatever they want. So that was like the guy culture. So if you maybe want to find a potential husband, maybe work at a hog factory, you might find him there. I just wasn't looking at all. I wasn't really. Okay, so I brought up body shaming, so I'm going to bring that up just a little bit, because this is not something I'm new to, body shame culture. So I'm going to get into a little history, I guess. So Congo is kind of known for like body shame culture. I'm not saying they are all body shamers. Like, I feel like obviously now they probably evolved. But, you know, like, it's back home, and most of them are skinny because they're always out in the sun doing stuff, and they're not really used to seeing Americans. Like, some Americans are big, they're not used to seeing that. So 2013, when I traveled to Congo, that could be a whole story time, to be honest, but y'all let me know. I traveled to Congo, and we got there, and like, we were walking like the market area, the Carne Marché, and like, I was like chubby, and I wasn't even huge. Like, I wasn't big as I was now. I was like chubby, and like, these people, like, if you see any fat on you, they're gonna be shocked. Like, these people, this whole like, oh, just imagine walking a market area. Like, if you ever travel out of the country, you know how they look. They're so bustling, busy. People are doing work on the side. There's food out. You know those markets areas. Just imagine walking through there, and everyone's staring at you, and everyone's screaming out, "Oh my gosh, you're so big!" Like, "Oh my gosh, Americans big, 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 big. This, that." Like, I legit was so. I was 13. I was so like embarrassed. I was like so hurt. I'm like I didn't want to go out after. I think they want to go somewhere else. I was like, yeah, I'm just gonna stay in the house. I'm not, like, no thanks. People were like, "Oh my gosh, like, you're huge, like that." And this is when I traveled to Congo, like I said. So here at work, I keep wanting to say the name, working at this hog factory, there was a lot of Congolese there once again, and they also was like pretty shocked. I mean, you're in America, you're gonna see different sizes of people. I don't know why it's so like confusing. But they were shocked of seeing me because I was a big girl, and I had hips, big curves, big boobs, everything. And they were like really shocked. And I remember there was this one time where I was working in the news section, of course, and I was like putting on my knife. Was it a belt? Some belt you gotta put on to protect you from something. I think when you use a knife, you gotta put it on. And it wasn't like closing on the way because like I had some hips, so it wasn't like closing on the way or something. The guy was like, "Oh, like, do you need help?" Like, this guy, Congolese guy. I was like, "Yeah, sure." He was like, "Oh, like, it looks like it's not fitting, maybe because you're too big." And I was like so speechless. Like, he didn't understand what he said. Like, they probably just see it as something so normal, like, just call that girl big because she's big, like, say it as it is. But I was like so just hurt and embarrassed. So I was like, oh, okay. And that just hurt my day for the rest of it. And I just wanted to bring that up because that was very eminent there. Oh, I keep saying eminent. I don't know if I'm saying. Let me search for eminent, actually. Famous and respected from a particular sphere or profession. I don't know if I used that right. I just wanted to bring that up. I kind of hate talking about it because it's such a sore subject for me. Like, imagine, yes, having one person body shame you is the worst. But imagine just having a whole bunch of people. That's why I'm like, some content creators, when they get body shame online, I'm like, I feel it. Like, I know what they mean, although I haven't gotten that. Well, I have gotten down on TikTok. Child, we're not getting to that. But some people feel like they just have to say it. Like, yes, I'm fat. Like, you don't have to say it. Like, it just hurts some people. So it's like, kind of like, that's also what kind of made me very closed in working there, because these people would like just body shame you, and they don't even know they're body shaming. Sometimes they just would say, "You're fat, you're big." Yeah, but I want to just bring up that little side comment because it kind of hurt me a little bit. All right, so I want to wrap up this video because it's been so long and I do have a whole bunch of work. I feel like I should do a part 2 of everything else that I'm literally, as I'm talking, I'm remembering certain things. But I feel like I want to do a part 2 and like talk about COVID times and like how it worked, me working at COVID. Because like I said, I did not quarantine at all during the time working there because it's a factory. They had to keep going. Like, I don't remember us having either like a week off or something. Like, while everyone was quarantining back at home, we were working and it was just crazy. Like, even my siblings were quarantining, like, where we lived with them, and I wasn't. But I wanted to end this video off because this thing that happened is pretty serious, so they want to make it like a joke thing. It's just shows like this place is really just very off vibes in this place, and it's just really like the type of people there, I don't know. But this is definitely going to give away a lot of stuff. If you knew about it, it's going to give it away. But at this point, I don't care. I just want to bring it up because this is like the major thing that happened at where I was working. So there was a incident that happened. It happened while I was working. So the cut floor, there was an employee that worked in the cut floor that asked to use the bathroom. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to say anything wrong. I'm going to actually search it up because this case was pretty famous a little bit. So this happened May 15, 2020. There was a lady, and so what I heard, I'm gonna read it from here too. She was Congolese, and what I heard is she asked to use the bathroom, and when she went to the bathroom, she gave birth to a baby, a live baby, and she drowned the baby in the toilet. Yeah, this all happened where I was working, and I was literally working there. I think at this point, did we give out a notice? A 2 weeks notice? I feel like we were about to leave at this point. Yeah, we did leave a job. See, I feel like I really should do a part 2. There's so much stuff to talk about. Let me read it because I don't want to say the wrong thing. So, late Friday afternoon, the Missouri State Highway Patrol, blah, 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 arrested a Missouri woman for murder. She was charged with first-degree murder and second-degree murder in the May 6, 2020 death of her newborn baby. It says, according to documents, the crime happened at the restroom of the HOG factory, and I think she gave birth sitting on the toilet, and the baby came out, and she allowed the baby boy to drown in the toilet. I don't know, guys. She worked the cut floor, which I said when mom was working there. I believe, yeah, she worked the cut floor area. I remember it happening there, and people like, this was like the gossip of the area. Like, people were talking about it, and I didn't see anything happen, like her getting arrested. I didn't really even know of her. I didn't know a lot of people because she also worked upstairs. But she was like, they didn't catch her. They did not catch her at the job, but she was arrested at her house or something. And I remember my siblings talking about, I think, how they seen a lady getting arrested, and that was a lady who drowned her baby in the newborn. I'm not going to talk too much about it because it's very just sickening. I mean, I'm not going to say like that job obviously is the reason why people like this, but I've noticed like some people there, it's just not a good environment, and you just gotta be careful with who you know and the people there, because I feel like mentally that place is just not good for people mentally there. Some of them are just, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but I was working there, and I was just like, in my head I was always thinking like, this place is very just sketchy, like some of the people there and like the guys, and it's like some of them were really just okay with just flirting with me. Like, most of them didn't even know my age. Like, I could have been a teenager, and they were just okay with just, yeah. It was a very interesting job, and I want to just end it off. Coughing a lot. I asked myself a few of these questions first. Will I work there again? Definitely not. It's not worth, yes, it's a lot of money, but it's just not worth it. It really isn't. This place just gave me heebie-jeebies, just creepy vibes, and you're hearing dead pigs every day just squealing for their lives. It's just not that best of a place where you want to work. I mean, yes, if you are in a crunch and you need a job, go work there. Like I said, they're most likely going to hire you. Just go in there, not even trying your interview, and you're going to get hired, like I did. Pay was good, like I said. You could really make a living with it. You can like give it like 4 paychecks. You probably buy yourself a car, a cheap car, because it's like that much money. I didn't though. What else? I want to end this off with something, but I can't remember. Like I said, I can't tell you the name of the factory. I've had people who really catch on what it is. So if you have this hog factory in your area and you really like, you heard everything I said, be like, oh, that doesn't sound bad, go ahead and apply. And if you heard everything I said, be like, I don't want to work here. I mean, if it's the only job in your area, just try it out, see how you like it. Like, you can always quit. No one can ever tell you can't quit. Speaking of quitting, there was a time, I think I discussed with my mom and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, we have to go back to Maryland. Like, we like it here, but it's just, this place is not for us. And my older sister, she was also thinking of moving somewhere else. So we're like, yeah, we're just going to move back to Maryland. I remember us putting our 2 weeks in, was it? And my supervisor, the one that said, like, kind of be flirting with me, he was like acting so like mean towards me afterwards. I'm like, I wonder if he knew about the, like, us putting on those because he was just acting very just like sassy with me. It was kind of weird, but that is my experience working. Like I said, maybe I'll do a part 2 if I remember. Like Heather was talking, I'm remembering so much things, but I just can't put it all in words right now. So maybe not, I'll do a part 2. If you enjoyed this video and like this like style video, please give it a big thumbs up and comment below what other videos you want to see. I already know in my next video I want to do a story time. This was going to be a little juicy. I'm kind of scared to actually tell it, to be honest, but I just want, I don't care. You hurt me, I tell stories. So yeah. So next video, hopefully, definitely will be a story time. I don't know when that's going to be filmed and stuff. But subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Like I said, give it a thumbs up, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye, guys. I'm tired and hungry.